2025 is here. Woo! I'm Hans Kraus, the owner of Rae Crowther Company. We have many new exciting ideas. Some of these have been in the making for years, and finally we have them out, ready to sell. The first new item is the H1 pad. This is a pad that has a foam torso and a real pair of shoulder pads and a real game jersey, all in one pad. Now, the coach can have the most realistic pad, the most realistic hand fit in the industry. Also, we've made this pad so that it will fit many sleds. The H1 pad is on the new X-Ray sled. This also can be on the Powerbow and the Strike King, but it will fit many competitor sleds. So if you're looking for replacement pads for those sleds, please check out the H1 pad. The X-Ray angle blocking sled. Yes, I said angle blocking sled, and we've been hard at this sled for over 2 years. Might seem simple now that it's done, but to create a sled that can be driven at an angle is not such an easy thing to do. And of course, today, most scheme is at an angle. So we should certainly have an angle blocking sled, and I think we should say that this sled should probably be on everybody's football field. Some very unique elements to this sled. I mean, first is you have the H1 pad, which this is a pad with real shoulder pads and a real jersey. So all of your hand fit is extremely realistic. The pad can also be adjusted on angle very easily by pulling one pin. The sled can be driven right or left. And we do that, we accomplish that by the wing. That wing looks kind of funny out there in the back, right? But you just pull a pin and the wing can flip from one side to the other. So whether you're going right or left, this can be easily accomplished. You also notice the markings on the sled, and this helps the coach and player teach the sled, because a player, when they see this sled, they're going to want to traditionally hit it and try to drive it straight. So it seems a bit confusing. Well, those color-coded stripes help the player understand where they're driving the sled. Please see the full video on this sled to help understand all of its benefits. The Powerbow sled. This is another unique one-man sled. The Powerbow can be purchased with the H1 pad or the E2 pad. Depends what the coach wants to accomplish. The sled can be used traditionally like a one-man sled, or it can be used unbalanced. And what do we mean by unbalanced? Well, this is very unique about the sled. The key is the back of the sled. You'll see these two weight horns, and they're mounted on this piece of metal that kind of looks like an anchor. Well, you could put 45-pound plates on one side of the sled, which obviously unbalances it. The player then tries to drive the sled straight. So where the weight is, that acts as the opposing player's force. And they have to go against those rotational forces and try to control the sled. Very unique. Great feedback from the player to be able to do this. It's a challenge in many ways, which makes the sled a higher learning tool. The sled pad, whether it's H1 or E2, can also be adjusted on angle very easily by pulling a pin, and then you can tune it to whichever drill you're trying to accomplish that day. Rage sleds. What are the rage sleds about? Well, first, it's really about striking ability and accountability. The rage sleds come with the E2 pads. These E2 pads have specific hand-cut pockets so that hand placement is easily understood. It also makes the player accountable. The coach, particularly on a 5-man sled, can see the player's hand placement. So this is a great way to improve striking ability. The pad itself does a lot of teaching. The other aspect is that hip power spring at the bottom there. That really creates a realistic feel for the player where they feel all that power go down through their hips and into their legs. With that, the sleds are tunable. Today, many teams are on turf, grass, and there's a different friction whether one is on grass or turf. So if you're a college team and you need to add resistance, you can add plates to the weight horns. If you're a small high school team, you can use the sled on grass and add no weight. If you want to restrict the amount of leverage ability the player has, or you want to keep their hands lower, you could add weight. So you can make this sled really what the coach needs for his players. The pad angles are also adjustable from 0, 7, 15, and that's easily accomplished with just the pull of a pin. Strike King sleds. The Strike King sleds come in 2 to 7-man configurations, and they come with the new H1 pad. This is a great pad that we think your coaches are going to love. This is a pad that is a real set of shoulder pads with a real game jersey mounted on a foam torso. So for hand placement, this is as realistic as it gets. The Strike King sleds are also tunable, and this is very important because half the teams are on turf, half are on grass. Whether you're a big high school, small high school, college, or pro team, you can tune the sled to your level of play. Well, the pads are adjustable in angle to begin with. You can go 0, 7, or 15 degrees, but the weight horns that are on the back of the sled are really the critical tuning part. If you're on turf, you can add weight. If you want to limit leverage ability of the player, you can add weight. Whatever it is, you can make it fit your level of play. So these are sleds that are for everyone at the high school to the pro level. The crank chute is a chute that I've been wanting to design for over 10 years. Why? Well, because the traditional chute, and with traditional chutes getting bigger and bigger, you have to bring multiple coaches out to the field, and they have to hold the chute up while someone pulls the pins and adjusts the angle. So it takes a fair amount of strength. With the crank chute, all you do, because there's 2 hand cranks on either end, you just crank the chute up or crank the chute down. So real simple and real quick. This allows the coach to adjust the height more frequently since it's so easy. And of course, the crank chute can easily be adjusted on angle. You just pull 2 pins and it'll go from 0 to 7 to 15 to 90. And it does come standard with 4 wheels. 2 of the wheels are casters, 2 are standard, and each of the wheels is a locking wheel. Foldable chute boards. We make a hard plastic board that weighs about 50 pounds. However, if the coach wants something that's more economical and they have to remove the chute board from the practice field, then we really recommend these new foldable chute boards. They're covered in something that's like a 30-ounce vinyl with a hard foam inner core. So they feel nice underfoot. They're very easy to use and they're very economical.